Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you here on this Thursday, the 27th of August, 2020. Welcome to the show. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. We've entered into a little tiny period right now, kind of relative calm. Maybe you can call it the calm before the storm, but this year has been an absolute, I don't know how to put words on it, what this year's been like, and we're right in the middle of it right now. And how's it going to end? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we're in a transition period right now where it's like a fork in the road, which way all of this is going to go toward the end of the year. And, there's so many different variables to it, that it's impossible to see for sure exactly what's going to happen by the end of this year. Maybe it'll be a surprise like opening up a Christmas present, or maybe it'll be a surprise like opening up a big box full of something stinky. I just don't know. Anyway, let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what's going on. There's rising tensions now between Turkey and Greece, and it's dividing the EU leaders. It's a conflict over drilling rights to a massive natural gas deposit in the eastern Mediterranean, and evidently there's increasing militarized in this area between these two NATO member countries, between Greece and Turkey. It says a Turkish research vessels in the picture is escorted by Navy ships in the Mediterranean this month, in a picture provided by Turkey's defense ministry. So we're looking at tensions there. The thing about it, I'm always watching for tensions right now in the world, in different hotspot areas. And the reason why is because when you have an economic problem that spreads around the world, generally what happens is the nations start to grow wrathful. We'll read a little bit more of this before we move on to other stories. It says Brussels, an escalating dispute between Greece and Turkey over energy resources in the eastern Mediterranean is fast becoming militarized, raising the risk of a clash between these two NATO member allies. So we got that going on. Now let's take a look now at what Hurricane Laura has been doing. Hurricane Laura, just basically when it was in the Gulf of Mexico, it exploded with energy. And it went all the way up from like a Category 1. It just jumped through the categories all the way up to a strong Category 4, almost a 5, when it came ashore, and it came ashore very rapidly. But it was an extremely small storm. It didn't have time to grow to be a particularly large storm. And its wind field radius of the really strongest winds was extremely small area around the eye wall. So it slammed ashore there yesterday and last night, and even today it's still blowing down there a little bit, But I don't think it quite did the damage that a normal 150-mile-an-hour storm would do. Yes, it did a lot of damage, but I don't think it had the potential impact of some of these other 150-mile-an-hour storms. But now it's diminished. It's rapidly diminished. It says here after it hit land at 7 a.m. It says Laura was about 30 miles northwest of Lake Charles, Louisiana, and 50 miles northeast of Port Arthur, Texas, at 5 a.m. and moved north at 15 miles an hour over southwestern Louisiana. It says Laura is expected to continue across Louisiana through Wednesday afternoon, moving into Arkansas by Wednesday night, mid-Mississippi Valley on Friday, and the mid-Atlantic states on Saturday. It is expected to be the strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. this year so far. At least 20 million people were in its path, and 600,000 people were ordered to evacuate the area. And this shows a picture of Laura moving in. See the very tight dot in the center? That's its eye. So now I don't think it has an eye anymore at this point, or if the eye is, it's not clearly definable on radar imagery at this point. So that's pretty much it's pretty much beating itself out, and that's what hurricanes do when they move over land. They basically, the pressures start to rise again in the storm, and it beats itself out. Now, what's happening with coronavirus right now? Uh, you know, we've got coronavirus all around the world. It says what's happening in the world. In Spain, the school children aged 6 and over must wear masks to class. The government announced on Thursday. They have a plan to reopen schools in Spain. So that's what's happening in Spain. Okay, 5 countries. We're taking a look here at a chart. This is the United States right here. And what you can see is the cases blossomed there back in around April 7th. Then they flatlined along for a little ways, dropping a little bit. And then they blossomed again around June 12th up until about June 17th. And now as we're moving into August, the cases are starting to fall again. That's in the United States. Now, there's Brazil. Brazil's been a steady climb in cases. Here's India. India is just shooting straight up with cases. I mean, the cases are just exploding in India. But, India went a long time early in this epidemic where their cases stayed low for a long time. And considering their population, it's not surprising what's happened there. Colombia's been going along with a steady increase, and still is. It says in Britain, reported its biggest daily increase in cases of coronavirus since June 12th on Thursday. It says the government said 1,522 people tested positive on Thursday, up from 1,048 on Wednesday. It says Britain suffered Europe's highest death toll from the disease. Now, in the United States, it says the federal administration will purchase $150 million of rapid coronavirus tests from Abbott Laboratories for $750 million, White House spokesman said. France, the government says the coronavirus is now actively circulating in about a fifth of the country's regions and is allowing new local restrictions to avoid another lockdown. Now, it says in India has recorded another single-day record of new coronavirus cases. 75,000 new confirmed infections in the past 24 hours in India. So India's having a real hard time right now, right this minute with it. South Korea is reporting 441 new cases, its highest single-day toll in months. It shows a guy washing down things. So that's what we got going. Africa, as 11 million tests for the virus have been conducted across the continent of 1.3 billion people. And they have a new goal for 20 million additional tests by November. Now, we're going to take a look at jobs here. Jobless claims. Again, take a look at this chart. We were going along relatively normal up until March. And, it just exploded with the amount of jobless claims in the United States. And, yeah, it's come back down some, but it's not even close to where the normal is. It's not even close to normal. It's about 7 times or 10 times normal, what it normally is, all these months. And this has been compiling. So, there's still over 1 million jobs lost. We're not going to be able to recover the economy fully from this. But, it's just like this. If a guy's walking along and he falls down face first in the mud, he can't go any lower. His face is planted in the mud, as deep as it's going to go. And that's what's happened. We fell down. Right now, our face is planted in the mud. There's only one place to go, and that's up. Even if he just sits up on a stool, and cleans the mud off of his face, still, it's a start. And that's what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to start to have a start. people are going to start running out of things. They're going to need to buy things. People are getting tired of staying home, and they want to go out and have a meal at the restaurant like they used to. There's going to be people needing products and things. It's going to start to pick up a little bit, but slowly, you know. And I think it wants to pick up now, but this virus hasn't completely let go. It hasn't let go of its hold yet. It's still out there. And I'm going to tell you one other thing I've noticed about all this. They keep talking about this is going to be a bad flu season, a bad cold and flu season. There's something they're not thinking of. The social distancing measures that we're using now, and most everybody's using them because you have to conform. I mean, even if you don't like wearing a mask, you know, if you go in someplace and everybody else is wearing a mask, you'll most likely wear a mask too. Because you don't want to be before this virus came along, let's face it, if you went into a store or something wearing a mask, people would look at you like, what's wrong with this guy? He's wearing a mask. But now it's the other way around. You would have been the odd guy if you went in wearing a mask back 6 months ago or 8 months ago. Now you walk into a store and you're not wearing a mask, you're the odd guy. People don't want to be the odd guy. So even the people that are resistant to this, still they go out and they wear their mask because they want to fit in. But that's effective. Masks are effective. They are effective. And an ordinary flu and the ordinary cold doesn't spread as easily as COVID-19. And so this effective policy of wearing masks and social distancing will stop the spread of the flu and stop the spread of colds just like it stops the spread of COVID-19. So it's entirely possible that during flu season this year, we might not see the flu spread savagely through the population like it normally does. Is because of these policies we have to fight COVID-19. So, there's what we got happening in the world right now, folks. I'm going to tell you what. The Federal Reserve now has embarked on a monetary policy where they want to see more than 2% inflation. Not even 2%. They had 2% as their goal. Like that was where they wanted to get it to, and then they'd drop off. Now they're talking about sustaining inflation above 2%. That's big. Well, as the economy starts to pick itself up out of the mud, probably next spring, maybe even this winter, things might start to pick up just a little bit. When things start to pick up, they're still pumping that money out there that they needed to pump out to keep things going. You're going to have two forces hitting at once. The economy's starting to pick back up a little bit, and also all this new money creation coming together at once. And the economy might start to warm up a little bit faster than an awful lot of people think. It's because it was pushed down so fast. It's the same as markets, if you push a market down really fast, an awful lot of times it'll spring back in the opposite direction just as fast. And that's the way with the economy. It was pushed down so fast. We had a fairly decent economy. Looking back on things, last year, the economy was not that terrible, it was perking along, and all of a sudden it just got slammed down. Now there's a springback effect, I don't think it's going to come back up to where it used to be, not anytime soon, but it's probably not going to stay down on these levels that it's down right now because, like I say, it's right down into the mud. Thanks, you guys, for listening. Like and subscribe. Oh, and listen, guys, beware. I think in the next month or two, I think we're in for a rather large stock market correction. I'm anticipating it. And, when that comes, I'm not going to be a bit surprised. Probably within the next 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and that's going to make the Fed even increase with even more stimulus to bring the markets back up, more accommodative monetary policy. And that's going to help stimulate things because the market will come back up again as soon as the Fed reacts, Catch you guys in the next show. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, no. Bye-bye, guys.